title of this book is fascinating because dying empty is somebody could say, well, I died empty, meaning I had nothing. What he's trying to say is that you do all of the passions that are inside of you. He asked this one question. He says, what is the most expensive property to buy in this world? And people might answer Paris and London and different places where it's very exorbitant to purchase property. But he said the graveyard, because a lot of people die with a lot of dreams inside there, very, very expensive dreams, and they end up just dying underneath and having nothing to live for. So that is important. So he goes on to talk about your days are finite, meaning they're numbered, which in Islam is extremely important that you know that your days are numbered. He goes on to talk about how time will run out, that the death rate is 100%, meaning that, taxes, maybe you may be able to avoid it, things, maybe doctor's appointment, whatever you dislike, but death rate is 100%. It doesn't actually go below that. It's 100%. So he talks about the golden cuffs, meaning it's easy to fall in love with these comfortable perks that we have. But he says that the love of comfort is the enemy of greatness. If you want to do great things, you got to get up in the morning, you got to do the things, you got to read, you got to write, you got to aspire for things. If you're an athlete, you got to train. And even if you're not an athlete, you have to be in shape. If you want to be a worshiper, if you want to be a reciter of the Quran, you want to be a memorizer, you want to do good works, you got to actually be on the go. And a healthy go. There's a balance, but it's not comfortable. You not only just come and sit and become comfortable. So you have to be able to do that. So that is important in one sense. And he talks about the 7 sins of mediocrity. So mediocrity, as we explained before, medius meaning middle and acris meaning a rugged mountain, to settle halfway to the summit of a rugged mountain, meaning you're just nowhere in the no man's land, right? So 7 sins. Number 1, aimlessness, meaning to say that you're aimless. You don't have an aim. You don't know where you're shooting. They say, if you want to, you should shoot for the stars, and if you don't, you fall to the moon or something like that. Meaning you have to shoot high and not shoot low. Because if you're shooting too low, you might hit your mark, and that might not be the best. So aimlessness is a problem. To combat it, you have to find meaning. 7 sins of mediocrity, aimlessness. In order to combat that, you have to be able to find meaning. Secondly, boredom is another sin of mediocrity. The cure for boredom is disciplined curiosity. You have to be disciplined. Find what you like, what you want to do, how you want to get there. You have to be focused. It has to be laser sharp in order for you not to be just in a boredom state and do nothing and just want to go from one sitting and laughing and joking to another. That's why people just keep finding parties, right? And they just waste their lives away like that. Third sin is the comfort. So comfort here meaning to say that we cannibalize future progress for the sake of temporary stability. So the idea here is that we shouldn't chew up our future just because we just want to have this comfort state, right? So the key here is commitment to continual growth and self-development. So you have to develop yourself. What are you good at? Something that you didn't do before. If you don't know how to play a game or whatever it is, you don't know how to write, you don't know how to reply, you don't know how to read the Quran properly, you don't know how to make tajweed properly. So whatever it is, in the religious sphere, in the worldly sphere, something that's good and halal, you'd be able to do that by continually processing your skills up and above where you have actually been stuck with all your life. Fourth is delusion. It's a very big sin. It's a very big problem in mediocrity because we just deluded ourselves, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls this world is an abode of delusion. Fifth is ego, that we don't let ego eat at us, because sometimes you hold our opinions so hard. It's part and parcel of this arrogance that we have, this hubris, this imperious outlook. We need to actually get rid of it, shun it, jettison it. Otherwise, ego always stands in the way. And in order to combat that, you have to continuously learn. You have to be open to learning. You can't be unteachable. So if you are unteachable, that means your ego is always in the way. Sixth is fear. That your fear actually cripples people. They can't do anything because the fear is in the mind. In order to combat fear here is that you have to be active. You have to get into the action, and then it dissolves fear. Because once you're in a state of lethargy and you can't move and you're lazy, the fear will actually grip you. Once you start moving and knowing and getting acclimatized to what you're doing, then fear will, inshallah, go away. And seventh is guardedness, that you're always guarded about yourself, that you don't break that cocoon and you don't go out. So it's very, very important here that you don't become a person that literally just floats away into nothingness. I remember there's a quote also in this book about Steve Jobs. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I have ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life. So know that we're going to die soon. So this whole book is called Die Empty. The book title is enough to buy the book. I would give it a B+, this book, because it has many fillers, but he brings some points. It's something not that fantastically out there, but it's nevertheless the title itself is to live your passion and to live and be big. Muslims at this time have to start thinking big. We can't think small anymore. We have to think big. May Allah give us this tawfiq. Take care of yourself and start today on your big plan, big mission, big goals, big horizon, big vision, inshallah. With tawfiq. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.